Level 989.
Welcome to a 989 on Health Extra. These quick supplements should help ease any withdrawal symptoms you may experience while waiting for our next full episode. So Mike, what's on today's agenda?
Today I want to mention a very interesting article I came across that really demonstrates how amazing Earthlings are. You know, it's weird, in science fiction we come to think of an Earthling as a human, but every living thing on our planet, that we know of, is an Earthling. Imagine this, as a human on a space station millions of light years from Earth, even a fishbowl with a little goldfish in it might bring you some solace. Two little Earthlings, so far from home. And I'd remember that I was related to that goldfish, even if millions of years of divergent evolution had separated us. Goldie would be like a little buddy from my hometown. You know, I wonder if that sort of perspective would help motivate people toward saving endangered species. Probably not, but it's a nice thought. So the article I read on the most excellent website, Ars Technica, which of course will be linked in the show notes for today's episode, in the article they detail a recent experiment conducted on the ISS, the International Space Station, with planarian flatworms. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear flatworm, for some reason my mind goes directly to people being infested with intestinal parasites. But planarian flatworms don't infest people. They live in ponds or under logs, and one of the big ways they're useful in research is their amazing ability to regenerate. So in the research on the ISS, the flatworm in question started out as just a living chunk of a flatworm. It had no head, it had no tail, it had to regrow its body, and it had to do that in space, without any of the normal cues it would have on Earth, one of the most important cues being gravity. Rather than growing a new head and a new tail, this particular worm grew two heads, one on either end of its body. Now, you might wonder, as I did, how it goes to the bathroom. Turns out these flatworms don't poop like you or I do. Instead, they just excrete their wastes through all the pores all over their skin. Imagine if you just sweated out everything your body had to get rid of. I think we'd take a lot more showers if that were true of humans. So they brought the worms back to Earth, and it took the worms some time to readjust to gravity, but they managed it, and they continued to thrive. The two-headed worm just kept its two heads, and even regrew them when the researchers cut them off again. One thing I'd like to know that I didn't see in the article is whether or not any of this worm's future offspring would also have two heads, and would that turn out to be an advantage? The article also doesn't say if having two heads has a negative impact on how well the worm can swim. Also, when the worm finds food, do the heads fight over it? I might just have to bite the bullet and actually read the research study. Anyway, I don't really have a direct health-related application to this story, but to me, it's interesting news from the world of biology, and that counts. These worms are Earthlings too, and any progress in biology might one day help us. Now, the future is long, and space is darn near infinite. This article also makes me think of a science fiction novel by Lois McMaster Bujold. Well, more than one of her books, really. But in several of her stories, there are modified humans who can survive in space without spacesuits, and they do a lot of important work on space stations and ships, and figuring out how organisms behave and grow in space is an important step towards humanity spreading out among the stars.
That's all for now. You can find links to read more about today's topics at level989.com. Why not take a moment to rate or review us in iTunes, or give us a mention on social media? We can't help everyone if they don't know we exist. Don't rely on us as an alternative to medical advice from a professional healthcare provider. For the full disclaimer, please see our website. Thanks for listening, and now, go health yourself.